We're often told that success is all about these huge, dramatic moments. But what if the real secret is something quieter? Something that gets built in those small, everyday choices that nobody else even sees. We're about to unpack that very secret, all through a simple story about one profound choice. So let's just imagine for a second you're faced with a choice. On one hand, you've got this guaranteed instant reward, and on the other, you have a slow, maybe even uncertain path that's going to demand relentless effort. Which one do you take? And this isn't just some hypothetical question. It's a decision we all face in all sorts of ways every single day. All right, let's make this choice really concrete. Picture two friends. Friend A, they take the $5,000 a month. I mean, it's easy, it's comfortable, and hey, it's guaranteed. But friend B, they go down a totally different path. They start with just $10. But here's the kicker. They get a 10% raise each week, as long as they put in consistent daily effort. At first glance, it seems like a total no-brainer, right? So friend B starts down that hard road. And, this is the part of the journey that nobody really likes to talk about. It's that long, quiet grind where it feels like your effort is completely invisible. You're putting in the work day in and day out, but the results, they're just nowhere to be found. This is the danger zone. It's the exact spot where almost everyone decides to give up. And here's exactly why so many people quit. Check this out. After 3 months, friend A has already pocketed a cool $15,000, and friend B, a measly $235. Can you just imagine the social pressure? Friends and family are probably begging them, just take the other offer. The temptation to just throw in the towel is massive because all the external evidence is screaming at you that you're failing. So this gets to a really crucial point. Success isn't always thrilling. As James Clear puts it, the real masters are the people who can just show up even when it's monotonous. They've made peace with the fact that excellence demands a certain amount of boredom. They get that the real work happens long after that initial wave of excitement has faded away. And this just captures the exact mindset it takes. You don't just tolerate the hard part, you actually start to seek it out. Like David Goggins says, that struggle, that discomfort, that's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It is the only signal that you are actually growing. No friction, no progress. It's that simple. Okay, so while the external results for friend B were totally flat, something absolutely incredible was happening beneath the surface. The most important change wasn't happening in their bank account. Not yet, anyway. It was happening inside their brain. And this is all grounded in pure biology. See, every single time our friends showed up and put in the work, they were physically reinforcing neural pathways. Think of it like trying to carve a path through a really dense forest. The first time, it's incredibly difficult, but every single repetition makes that path a little clearer, a little wider, and a whole lot easier to travel. They weren't just using willpower, they were physically building the infrastructure for success inside their own head. And this rewiring leads to this profound shift in identity. Think of it this way, like James Clear explains. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're not just doing a habit, you are proving to yourself one vote at a time that you are a consistent, disciplined person. This just completely flips the script on how we think about getting started. Most people wait around to feel motivated, but the neurobiology is crystal clear. You act first, and the action itself is what triggers the dopamine release that fuels your momentum. Motion builds motivation. Our friend didn't wait to feel like it, they just started. And then, after all of that quiet, invisible, thankless work, it happens. The curve on the graph suddenly, dramatically shoots skyward. The results of all that compounded effort finally break through the surface, and they aren't just linear, they are explosive. This is where the math just becomes staggering. Okay, look at this. At 1 year, our friend is still way, way behind. But watch what happens next. Around 16 months, they finally cross over. And by the end of year 2, well, it's not even a competition anymore. Friend A has a respectable $120,000, but friend B, the one who chose that long, hard path, they have over $2.2 million. The compound effect is absolutely real. So, was it an overnight success? Absolutely not. No way. That explosive result was simply the visible payoff for months and months and months of invisible effort. It's kind of like an ice cube in a freezing room. As the temperature rises 1 degree at a time, from 25 to 26, so 31, nothing seems to happen until it hits that final degree. The breakthrough was earned long before it ever showed up. So how in the world did they stick with it? It wasn't just pure grit. It was a smart system. They literally engineered their own success. They made the habit obvious, like leaving their workout the night before. They made it attractive by pairing it with something they already enjoyed. They made it easy by starting with just a few minutes a day. And they made it satisfying by tracking their progress so they could actually see that chain of daily wins growing. See, they didn't just try harder. They built a system that made consistency the path of least resistance. And that right there is the key takeaway. Friend A had a goal: get paid. Friend B built a system: improve daily. You know that saying, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems? It's so true. The person who falls in love with the process, with the system itself, they can't help but win in the long run.
But listen, the story doesn't end with the money, because the $2.2 million, that isn't the real prize. The true transformation wasn't financial at all. It was a fundamental change in character, in identity, and in what they believed they were capable of.
This just gets right to the heart of it all, a truth Jim Rohn captured perfectly. Every single time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're doing more than just making progress towards a goal. You're building character. You're strengthening your will. You are proving to yourself that you can actually trust your own word. And this brings up this powerful paradox. We tend to think that discipline restricts us, right? But as Jocko Willink explains, it's the exact opposite. The discipline to manage your time, your health, your work, that's what creates true freedom. Freedom from being a slave to bad habits, to poor health, and to missed opportunities. So at the end of the day, these are the ultimate rewards. It's not the money, it's the built belief, that deep confidence you forge by doing hard things. It's the resilience to get knocked down and get right back up. It's the mental armor that makes you ready for whatever life throws at you. It's the character forged in that fire of daily sacrifice. And ultimately, it's a new identity, built from the sum of thousands of tiny, consistent choices. In the end, really, it all just comes down to this. Every day, every single choice you make is another sentence in the story of your life. That instant reward is always going to be tempting, but the path of consistency, that's where the real transformation happens. So the only question left is, what story are you going to write?